Right. So last week, actually, I was thinking that I might have to try to figure out how to do a tidal wave effect for the show that I'm working on. Uh, like, so I did some research, and it seems like rough water, that's something that Sims do pretty well. It's like, big, even big rough water kind of stuff, it does pretty well. But what simulation doesn't do well, or actually, it doesn't do or it's not controllable, is tidal waves. So I did some research, and what do you call it? Dreamworks had an entire paper on Surf's Up. It's a PDF. I posted this sometime last week, and I was looking through it, and it seemed pretty doable. So I wanted to see if I could replicate it, and I think I was successful. So these curves up here, they're the controllers, and these things will control the evolution of the wave by rotation. So right now I have them already pre-offset so that these up here are more rotated than the ones over here. But I can grab this one and I can rotate it further to make that evolution more or less. And I can do this all along the wave. So I can give variety that way, and I could also actually move it so that it actually is more further forward or back, and I can do that for all of these, and I can rotate this more or less and all of that. So with all of these controls, it should be possible to make a fairly decent wave animation. So I mean, this is the Surf's Up kind of example, but if they were surfing this wave and you're in here like this, and you can show the evolution of the wave continuing and crashing. And of course, it doesn't have any of the particle effects that you would need in order to hide the seams like this as it crashes. But yeah, and then it goes all the way to completion like that. And this is when they're all synced together, so the wave would be like that. The way that this is done is with curves. So these are all nerve curves here, and basically I ended up tracing 5, 6, hey, where'd it go? 7, no, 6. Oh, okay, well, I ended up tracing these profile shapes. So I had, I think it was 10 different curves, and basically I'm just moving control points to make these different shapes. And then I actually made a morph target. So each of those were different morph targets. And then I just made a controller that actually just moves the morph target slider, but just by rotating this control. It's a set-driven key. In addition, these clusters are basically, it just allows me to select a bunch of control points or on a polygon object vertices, and then bind them together to this cluster. And then the cluster is a handle, basically allows you to just move those points around. So I parent constrained that cluster to this control as well. So this control not only controls the evolution of the wave, but you could also move that wave forward or back as well, because it's controlling the cluster, which is the handle for the vertices, or the control points in this case. Let's see. Oops. Hide that. Oh, these over here, these are all the different shapes. These are all the blend shapes, all the morph targets. So I selected those, and those are all the in-between blend shapes, so that when I move that slider, it goes through all of them, all of those things, and it interpolates. And then this is a polygonal surface that's generated by just lofting from one to another. So the history that attaches the loft surface to these curves remains. So if I change the way the morph or the place in the morph that it is by altering these controls, it's like the lofted surface will reflect that change. So yeah, that is my experiment in seeing if I could actually pull off the surf's up tidal wave control, and I kind of surprised myself, and I could do it. And that's it. Bye bye.